Wisconsin's Governor Tony Evers is calling for transparency and accountability in the investigation into a fatal shooting involving Madison police officers. Police shot and killed a man as he resisted arrest on Wednesday afternoon. Officials say the man was armed with a knife and injured a responding officer. Now, protesters in the city have taken to the streets in response to that shooting. In fact, today, they stormed into a police press briefing demanding answers. Additional protests were also staged outside the state's capital, interrupting a summer event that had been planned there. CBS News correspondent Jonah Kaplan is in Madison with more on this developing story. Jonah, I see what's happening behind you. Tell us a bit more about what it looks and sounds like on the ground there.
Actually, it's really quiet right now because this is a vigil that just started just a few moments ago. We're just a little more than 24 hours after this shooting happened. And at least when you talk to a lot of the folks here, the feeling is right now everything is about grief, right? Let's have grief, stay grief, and let not turn into rage. But you could also tell, especially watching that police press conference, just how everything has kind of reached a boiling point. I've watched a lot of press conferences before, sat in on any. I never saw anything like this, where protesters walk in, basically steal the microphone from the police chief, and the police chief, the mayor, the city council president, they just stand there. They don't do anything about it. They just let the protesters keep talking and interrupting. And that went on for about 15 or 20 minutes. So you look behind me here. This is the block where it happened. You see the sign there. It says Justice for Corey Ruiz. He is the person that neighbors and friends have identified as the man shot and killed by police. And what's really interesting in all of this is that Madison police, the officers, do not have body cameras. That is not an investment that the city of Madison has chosen to make just yet. So the investigation, the police chief has called for an independent investigation. It's going to rely entirely on witness video.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Jonah. Without the body camera, what are we looking for next in the investigation? What kind of answers are we hoping to get?
Well, it is state statute that an independent investigation, or at least part of Wisconsin State Police or some state agency, is going to take over this. Certainly, use of force is going to be looked at. Right now, we do know, at least according to investigators, and we've seen pictures of this fairly large knife that the person had. And obviously, we're going to have to learn about what were the exact injuries to these officers involved. Were they, in fact, from a knife? Were they from a scrape? Were they from something else? What were the severity of those injuries? These are something, again, that we're going to have to look at. And, you know, this is the first time, I think, in a long time where the national conversation is back on local law enforcement. You know, for a long time, we've been talking about federal law enforcement, the conduct of the FBI, of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. But this now back on local law enforcement. It's a really interesting case.
Okay, lots to follow. Jonah Kaplan, thank you.